name's Chauncey Hopkins, and I'm going to open up today with a word and a quote, prophecy actually. And the word is Wokiksuya, it's remembrance. There's a lot of words that were left in prophecies that were left for our people to remember that there's a time coming and to instill hope. Because hope deferred makes the heart sick. And this particular prophecy was by an Oglala leader named Tashuke Witko, and the Washiko Ligati, the English language is crazy horse. And he spoke this prophecy 4 days prior to his untimely death at Fort Robinson. He said, "The red nation shall rise again, and it shall be a blessing for a sick world. A world filled with broken promises, selfishness, and separations. A world longing for light again. I see a time of 7 generations when all the colors of mankind will gather under the sacred tree of life, and the whole earth will become one circle again. In that day, there will be those among the Lakota who will carry knowledge and understanding of unity among all living things. And the young white ones will come to those of my people and ask for this wisdom. I salute the light within your eyes, where the whole universe dwells. For when you are at that center within you, and I am at that place within me, we shall be one." Praise horse, Oglala Lakota. When we learn about that prophecy, that he mentions a sick world, and within his tribe, which now is the Pine Ridge Reservation, there's a sickness there that is very common on other reservations. Where I grew up is Spirit Lake. My wife's from Pine Ridge, and we had one thing in common, which is a dry reservation where there was no alcohol sales or consumption. You want to get buzzy, you get caught, you sitting in a drunk tank till you blow zeros on that blood alcohol content. So I just want to say, you would take a walk with me, to my wife's homeland there. And we're going to Pine Ridge, the town of Pine Ridge there. And there's a highway that runs from Pine Ridge, it's a 1-mile highway, 407. And it runs from Pine Ridge all the way down to the Nebraska border. So if you walk with me, we're walking outside Pine Ridge, maybe we're stopping at the Big Bad's gas station, picking up a soda, and we're walking. We see all those same reservation houses and an abundance of reservation dogs. You might have to pick up a stick or two to fight them suckers off, because they'll try to get you, man, They work in gangs, and it's kind of scary, But we'll keep on walking, and to our right, I'll see my grandmother, Irene Blue Horse. She'll be sitting outside smoking a Chun Li on her porch, smoking a cigarette on her porch. And her neighbor there, Vern Clifford, he's mowing the lawn there on the side. And I'm watching and I'm waving, wave at him. They made an agreement. She gave him a lawnmower if he would keep up her yard after her husband died. And we keep walking. And to our left, we see the dump grounds. It's where everybody takes their trash, and it's right off the highway there. We might hurry up a little bit, get a little stinky right there, an abundance of flies. We'll keep going, and we may see billboards on the left side of the road detailing the culture and the programs that are available to help the people of the area. And the other ministry help that people are genuinely creating community to help. And then to our left, we see another building out in the distance is the jail. The Pine Ridge Jail right there is pretty big. And when we keep walking, we see the border. We see the border of Nebraska right before us. And this border has a big sign after we get done walking. There's a big sign, big green sign, if you can imagine, to your left, said Nebraska, the good life. So we cross over the border and we're greeted by this big green sign. As we're walking, we come into a small town right across the border. But first, we'll see maybe abandoned houses. And keep in mind, this is, I want to go back in time on this walk. It's 2017 and before. Abandoned houses, buildings. We got graffiti on them, we got trash all over the ground. And you'll notice an abundance of people outside. Around maybe 30 to 50 people outside. They're all in groups. Some are passed out on the ground. Some are fighting. Some are laughing. Some are loving out there in open. And some are trying to get a drink. And when you walk further in town, you see businesses. Different types of businesses. You see a grocery store and you see 4 bars. These aren't bars that we see here. These are, they're boarded up, they're caged up, they're painted, they're covered. And you walk in and all you see is a counter. You go and order your drink or pop and chips. And you go out. And 2 words come to mind during this time. It's tiwahe. If we're Lakota, we say tiwahe as our immediate family. Brothers, sisters, mom, dad, immediate family within our immediate circle. And you hear the word tioshbaye, is your extended family. And when you're a part of the family there, you're going to run into some relatives. Especially if you go into town, go into this small town where there's 50 plus people at any time. And there's your uncle, there's your auntie, there's your niece, your nephew, your tanchi, your cousin. They're sick. They're asking for a drink. And it breaks your heart, because a lot of us have been through that. I've been through that. I've seen that growing up a lot. So all too familiar. And then you get what you need and you come back out. And you ponder, you think, the good life, Nebraska. Right across the border, 1 mile south of one of the largest Sioux reservations in the U.S. You know, this one stretch of highway. So we ask ourselves, how did this place even come about? What is White Clay, Nebraska? In 1882, an executive order was created. It created a 50-mile buffer zone south of the Pine Ridge Reservation along the White Clay Creek to protect Indians receiving rations. Now this was a 50-mile buffer zone to keep whiskey peddlers away. To keep them from maybe trading their whiskey for people trying to get food. Because if you go down there, it's dry, there's not much game and there's not much food. It's hard to grow stuff down there, it's really dry. You got cactuses, you gotta put on some shoes because there's little spiny things that get stuck in your feet down there. It's a tough land. And that was in 1862, and that was to curb the whiskey peddlers. That little area, it was a huge area. Well, in February 20th, 1904, President Theodore Roosevelt reversed that executive order, eliminating the White Clay extension and returning the land to public domain. So within the next year, squatters, they take over the extension. So that 50 miles was reversed to 1 mile, down to 1 mile. And squatters in the area, they seen dollar signs. And they set up shop. They made farmland, they made trading posts, and they turned it into a saloon town right across the border. So, and that was 1905 till the year 2017. So that means for over 100 years, White Clay provided alcohol to the people of Pine Ridge Reservation, right across the border on the dry reservation. From a business standpoint, you look for a need or a want, or an offering of services, or a product not readily available to somebody. For the Iguala Sioux tribe, that just happened to be bars and alcohol. They didn't have them. So someone set it up right outside there. People seen dollar signs. People seen business. You know, in the year of 2017, White Clay, Nebraska was a population of 12 people with 4 liquor stores. And in those last 10 years of that bar operation, from 2017, the past 10 years from there, the operations have said that they pulled in more than 42 million cans of beer. 42 million cans of beer in the past 10 years. You know, we could look at those cans of beer and we gotta wonder, what are the effects of 42 million cans of beer? In the year of 2014, tribal police from the Oglala Sioux tribe say that roughly 200,000 calls they receive each year are about 80% alcohol-related. Domestic violence, drunk driving, loss of life. And all that was included. And in 2017, the suicide rate was in Pine Ridge was 4 times the national average, 4 times. In 2012, the Oglala Sioux tribe filed a suit against the bars in White Clay. They said about 25% of their children born on the reservation had health or behavioral problems caused by exposure to alcohol in the womb. 25%. Census says there's 20,000 people there. But they're so cramped up and they can't reach everybody, they think it's double that, 40,000. And a quarter of that, they believe that the children born had an exposure to alcohol in the womb. You know, the average life expectancy is 64.5 years in Oglala, Lakota County, which includes much of the Pine Ridge Reservation, according to 2019 estimate from the Institute of Health Metrics and Evaluation at the University of Washington. That is the lowest of any county in the U.S. and about 15 years below the national average. That's a lot of numbers that speak that what may be that business in the last 10 years, the effects of it. You know, possible solutions that we may have is, and that we see is that we see a lot of hurt, we see a lot of effects, but also doesn't mean people was fighting back. You know, I could tell you that I witnessed, you know, just chilling out at Grandma's house, I seen about 60 to 80 people going down the road singing. They were going down to White Clay, they were going down to protest. Throughout the years there was protests. And they were singing, they were calling out, they were unifying, because there's too much people dying. They didn't want the poison there on the reservation. And then later I seen on social media, they gathered them up. I seen a big police force there. I could tell you that when I was in town, there was no police there. You'd see ambulances picking up sick people or dead people. I seen a huge police force there, and they riled everybody up and put them in horse trailers and maced them. But I seen community action. I seen people that had enough and taking a stand. And that's what I see as the solution is we take a stand. You know, create awareness. You know, for me, I grew up on a dry reservation. They told me just to say no. Say no. But what if you say yes when you get that alcohol? Moderation was never taught to any of us. So, just a warning. I let my kids know, it's like, hey, that ever comes in your hand, anything comes in your hand, there's going to be some things you're going to expect with this. Try to educate my children. And I know that bringing that awareness to the children, letting them know ahead of time is causes prevention. And also, solution would be good business. You know, out of them 4 bars, they got to be millionaires after selling all that. Did any of that money go to, you know, possible treatment centers or help? You know, there's, in business, they use the word ethics. Is it ethical? Am I affecting the environment? Am I affecting the social, am I making like a social change in the area? You know, people are protesting their business and they're laying across the road and they don't want nobody to come, or they're trying to stop your product from coming into their homeland. Maybe there's some things that need to be ironed out and talked about, or maybe you can in business, some people have community outreach. They help a community near them. It's part of good business practices. Well, in September 2017, the Nebraska Supreme Court ruled to shut down all 4 bars in White Clay based on an obscure rule that in order to host a bar in town, you must have an adequate police force. I can tell you I had seen no police because the nearest police was over 20 miles away. So if you could visualize what's here, what happened, what went down. You know, Nebraska, someone took it upon themselves, the dead life, home of the deaf. If we could visualize and see our children that have prevention and awareness, I'm seeing it now, and I'm seeing it in recovery. I'm seeing it, I used to work at a treatment center, and I seen the recovery community within a tribe take other tribal members and it was infectious. You've seen people going to take classes. I've seen people give the shirts off their backs to help another brother in recovery because they knew the hell they went through. They knew the effects, and their children are a part of it. There's different things, even in recovery. We have people talking about parenting in recovery. It's there and it's growing. It's our tribes helping our tribes from the inside out. And I'm seeing that those fires starting, they're going to other nations. There's a sickness and it's being dealt with. It's beautiful. You know, we have a word in our language that says, makipazo, show me. You know, there's been a lot of broken treaties and promises through the years. And people want to say, makipazo, I want to see some results here. I want to see something. I've seen it. I know it's effective and it works, and it's even here in Bismarck. It's beautiful. You know, a group of people coming together, creating community, healthy community, coming up with healthy ideas and going out. It's awesome. And I'd say call to action is getting involved or supporting these groups. There's a lot of different groups. The power of speaking of what you've been through, what you've gone through, and that you can live again. There can be life in recovery. And just to support them, to be there, or even come there yourself and just see. You know, I could tell you that my brother had a birthday. He's in recovery. He's overlooking sober lodge houses. He had a birthday party. He had like 30 plus sober people all having a good time, singing and eating. You know, we brought some food too, and it was a great time. And I was like, man, this is some kind of America. I've never seen anything like this. We need to see more of it. And that was since we took part. So by supporting these groups and creating healthy community action, we can be the change we want to see within this and deal with these sicknesses. And with that, remember what those words they said are ones that, and I'm going to just play a quick part of this. If you want to hold on to me tight, lady that sings. Her name is Rochelle Derby. And she said, we will rise. Just like the prophecy, crazy horse, the red nation will rise again. And all colors of mankind will come together for a sick world. thank you guys for listening. You guys have a great, blessed day.